It is the last home game of the regular season, and the Rangers are still very much alive in the American League West, thanks to the Oakland A's and what they have done the last two nights at Anaheim. The Rangers 5 games back. Angels' magic number still 4 to close out the Rangers, with 4 head-to-head meetings coming up beginning tomorrow night in Anaheim. And the Rangers have spent about half an hour greeting fans as they arrived at the gates today. It is Fan Appreciation Day as the Rangers close out this 3-game series against the Tampa Bay team they have been crushing the last 2 nights. Welcome, Dave Barnett, along with Tom Grieve. And as this wraps up this home schedule, it has been one of the best home seasons in Ranger history, and the attendance has borne that out. The Rangers have the biggest improvement in attendance last year to this year than any team in the league, or either league.
No doubt about it. And it's been a much better season for the Ranger, and the reason it has been is because they've played so much better at home this year. They actually haven't scored at home the way they did last year. They're 7/10 of a run lower this year than they were last year. The big difference has come in their pitching. They pitched ERA-wise 1.2 runs better at home this year than they did last year. That's made all the difference in the world. They're 16 games over right now. Last year they were 1 game under.
And one individual that should get an awful lot of the credit may be the Rangers MVP this year. Marlon Byrd, last night, his 6th career Grand Slam, became the only player in Major League history to have that many Grand Slams with fewer than 60 career home runs. It was his 4th career 2-homer day. We'll see what Marlon has in store. Lineups in the first pitch coming up on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. By Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. and by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. A warm but cloudless Sunday afternoon here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington as the Rangers wrap up their home schedule for 2009. As usual, you get to this part of the season, Tom, and you wonder, where did these last 6 months go?
I can definitely agree with that, because I think the older you get, the faster it goes. But it seems like it was just yesterday that we were going to spring training, going to Surprise, Arizona, broadcasting a few games there, watching the team, see who would make the team, and now here we are in the last game. It really does go by quickly.
Well, with the events of the last couple of days, there is still lots to play for. The Rangers with 2 big wins here over Tampa Bay, and Oakland helping them out with 2 wins over the Angels. So the margins we showed you, still 5 in the division. And today's Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Tampa Bay. As usual, Jason Bartlett, followed by Carl Crawford, sizzling at almost 400 over his last 11 games. Still at 59 stolen bases. One off what would be a new club record, breaking his own old club record. Gabe Gross getting the start, left-hand hitter in right field. And Chris Richard, the 35-year-old journeyman, playing his first Major League ball in 6 years. A September call-up at first base. Navarro back at catcher. And Brandon McCarthy gets his 16th start today for the Rangers.
Brandon's 7-4 on the season. Good line, though. 85 innings, only 83 hits. He's pitched well in 7 home starts, real well, as a matter of fact. Opponents are only hitting 196 against him at home with a 4-1 record. His first 2 starts back from the disabled list were wins. His last 2 starts have been losses. Hasn't got a lot of run support. His last start was a pretty good start, 5 innings. And Brandon's trying to finish the season strong, finish the season healthy, number 1, so he can feel good about going to spring training and competing for a starting job next year.
91 degrees for our first pitch. A strike to Bartlett. And a breaking ball high. Jason at 320. Still 7th in the American League. 14 homers, 65 runs batted in. And starts the game with the base hit. Out to Marlon Byrd in center.
It's the same way Bartlett started the game last night, with a little blooper to center field.
Defensively for the Rangers, Murphy, Byrd, and again Nelson Cruz, who has not started the last 3 games. With Davis, Andrews, Kinsler, and Blaylock. Same look in the infield, and Taylor Teagarden getting the start behind the plate. Day game after the night game. But what a night game Pudge Rodriguez had last night. And Crawford hits it right out to Cruz. First pitch and the first out. Pudge Rodriguez 3 for 4 last night. All hits in the 5th and 6th innings. He had 2 hits, scored 2 runs in that crazy 5th, and did it again in the 6th. Brandon McCarthy just hoping for a fraction of that much run support. He has had 1 run scored for him in his last 2 starts combined.
Dave, you mentioned last night in the first inning, after it was single, single, single walk, that some of the key at bats could be coming up, even though it was the first inning. And as it turned out, if you look at the score, that doesn't seem like it's the case when the Rangers scored 15 runs. But who knows, if Kevin didn't settle down and get that big double play and get out of the inning with only 1 run scoring, it might have been the key inning. Because if they have a big inning in the first, you probably don't see the same pitchers late in the ball game, and could have been an entirely different game. But Kevin was able to pitch out of that big jam in the first inning.
Curve drops in. 0-2 to Evan Longoria. He was hit in 9 of his last 10 games at .412. Highly ranked in lots of categories. Extra base hits, 3rd in RBIs, tied for 8th in home runs.
I think when you look at the top 10 players, for instance, in the American League, I think you have to include Longoria in that group. He's young, but he's already accomplished a lot. And he's not just a slugger, He's a very good defensive player at third base. Good all-around player.
Just 23.
Yep.
Unanimous Rookie of the Year last year. Followed that up with 6 postseason home runs, a major league record for any rookie in the postseason after hitting 27 in the regular year. And down on strikes for out number 2.
Yeah, good fastball. Threw it right by him. One of those fastballs that doesn't light up our radar gun, but was pretty effective. Had some good movement on it. Looked like it sunk right underneath his bat at the end. And any starting pitcher will say if they had their choice between a couple of extra miles an hour or a little bit more movement, I think they'd take the movement.
So 2 outs. Bartlett at first. Ben Zobrist again batting cleanup. Second baseman today. Hitting .286, 24 home runs, 79 runs batted in. Last night he was in right field. Second base Friday night. Most versatile player in the big leagues, including DH. Tampa Bay can start him at 7 different positions. There goes Bartlett. Teagarden's throw not in time, and Bartlett has stolen base number 26. Thrown out only 6 times all year.
He got a pretty good jump. I think Taylor might have had a chance if he could have dropped the ball on the other side of the bag and made the tag a little bit easier. But the tag had to go from the shortstop side back to the bag, and it just took too much time to do that.
But now a strike away from getting Zobrist and getting out of the inning. Zobrist, however, has been an on-base machine the last 3 weeks. He has reached via a hit or a walk 18 of his last 19 games. The only game he didn't was a 5-inning rain-shortened game a couple of weeks ago at Boston.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ways to get on base. He's a .286 hitter, and he's walked 89 times. So if he doesn't get a hit, he's got a chance to get a walk.
Andrews, bare hands, and throws him out. The incredible Elvis.
He's been watching Omar make that play.
Well, still learning from the master. So the The Rangers, having held Tampa Bay scoreless, will send Ian Kinsler to the plate as the leadoff man today. Julio Bourbon not in the lineup against the left-handed David Price. Elvis Andrews again batting second, and then Murphy and last night's hero, one of many actually, Marlon Byrd, tearing up Tampa Bay. 3 for 6 this series, 2 homers, 7 runs batted in, and 3 runs scored. Blaylock still at first. Andrew Jones gets the start at DH. Cruz in the lineup for the first time in 4 games. And David Price going for his 10th win of the year.
It's been a good season for Price, and it's getting better. His last 5 starts have been really good. His last 9 starts have been really good. He's 6-2 in his last 9 starts. A lot is expected of this kid. First pick in the draft, college pitcher out of Vanderbilt. Wasn't terrific early in the season, but boy, he's been good lately. Had one really bad start against the Rangers, 1 1/3, gave up 6 runs in that start. He's got good stuff. Last time we faced him in Tampa, he pitched 7 innings, gave up 3 runs, and threw almost all fastballs. Just went right after the Rangers, fastball after fastball, with pretty good location, pretty good movement. So he's going to be a real good pitcher in the American League for a long time to come. Probably be their top of the rotation guy.
0-2 to Kinsler. 31 homers, 84 runs batted in, and Marlon Byrd shot past him in the league for RBIs for the Rangers last night. He is at 88. David Price looking to win his 3rd straight game. A week ago beat Toronto 3-1. His 2nd victory over Roy Halladay this year. 6 2/3, 3 hit innings. Chasing this one into the corner is Gabe Gross. And Ian Kinsler, the first out. Defensively for Tampa Bay, Speedy Crawford and Upton in left and center. Gross in right, Longoria, Bartlett, Zobrist, and Richard the infield, with DeHonor Navarro handling the catching duties. And Elvis Andrus now at 269, 1 for 2 with a couple of walks and a run scored last night. In an 8 for 43 slump, 186 over that span. But if you stretch it out, his last 55 games at 292, and that's really been much more representative of how the second half of the season, and particularly the last third of the season, has gone for Elvis. 7th rookie with 30 steals, and has basically been a 300 hitter for a little over the last quarter of the season. So as he has gone around the league, seen staff's 2nd and 3rd time, it's obvious what he's learned.
Well, one thing that Ron Washington would say, one thing that Rudy Jaramillo would say, he's a fast learner. You don't have to tell him the same thing twice. He picks it up. He's got confidence. He's got great makeup, good attitude. And that kind of a player should get better as the season goes on. And he has gotten better. He's gained confidence. I think he expected to do well at the beginning of the season, and now he knows he's going to do well.
Stays alive at 2-2.
Just not overmatched at the plate. He can make contact. Good pitchers may get him out, but they don't overmatch him. They don't embarrass him. And with a 20-year-old at the start of the season, you might have expected that could happen, but it really hasn't.
Inside with the big curve and a full count. Price last year at age 22, turned 23 last August 26th. Just a 5-game regular season debut, and then lit the world up in the postseason as Longoria throws out Andrus for the 2nd out. Price, just the 4th pitcher in Major League history to get a postseason win before he had a regular season win. 3rd rookie in postseason history to get a win and a save in the same series. His first Major League start last year, he held Baltimore hitless until the 5th inning and signaled what he was going to be all about. Started last year at Class A, quickly through AA, AAA, and was up with the Rays in less than 4 months. September 13th they called him up. He was a combined 14-1 last year with a .231 earned run average. And the red hot David Murphy, 1 ball and 1 strike. David 2 for 5 last night, a 2-run double, which began the miseries of Jeff Bennett, the first of the 4 Tampa Bay relievers, who pitched to 7 batters and did not retire a single one. 5 hits, 2 walks. Murphy with the first of those 5. one in there, and it's 2-2. A 7-game hitting streak for David at 423. Last 19 games, 342, with a fourth of his home run total for the year. And that one right in there at the knees to end the Ranger first. David Price sets him down in order, scoreless after 1.
In Texas, Dave and Tom in Community Corner today. We have David Bostic. He is the president and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Fort Worth. Tell us about your fine organization, David.
Well, Jim, we're here celebrating 60 years of service in the Metroplex and surrounding counties. Our organization puts people to work. That's what our mission's all about. We've been doing that, as I said, for 60 years. We served over 18,000 people last year in 2008, and we're on track to do better than that this year.
That is wonderful. 60 years of service. Congratulations. Enjoy the game. For those who want to get involved and help out, you see the information on your screen. Thank you, David. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, Noxie, thanks. Willie Ibar leading off the second. 2 balls and no strikes from McCarthy. He'll be followed by B.J. Upton and Gabe Gross. High for ball 3. First inning, Bartlett led with a single, stole second. But Brandon got Crawford, Longoria, and Zobrist in order. And there's a strike. Willie just 1 for 8 in the first 2 games of this series. Last night had his 9-game hitting streaks now. Probably low for ball 4 instead of full count. Willie in his 14th start after Carlos Pena was lost for the year with a broken hand. He is now filled in for Burrell, Iwamura, Longoria, and Pena. And coming on to make that catch, Marlon Byrd. A nice recovery by Brandon McCarthy after falling behind the count early. So Ibar 1 for 9 in the series, and here's B.J. Upton. Upton hitless last night. That snapped a 4-game hitting streak. Not just any 4-game streak, though. He had 2 hits in all 4 games, and right back to another streak here on the first pitch. You talk about a streaky player, B.J. Upton. The 12 games before that 4-game stretch in which he was 8 for 14, he was 4 for 38, half that many hits in 3 times as many games at 105 over those 12 games. He was the June American League Player of the Month. He hit 324 in June. He has hit 217 in all the other months combined except June. Very tough season to figure out. And now Gabe Gross, the right fielder. Gross at 237, his 70th start. All but 4 have been in right field. The others DHing. Platooning out there in right with the former Ranger Gabe Kapler. Tampa Bay, when Gross is in the starting lineup, has played .609 ball. They are 39-25. Much better at home than on the road. The Rays overall just 2 games over 500. And when they start Gross, 14 over. Upton going with the pitch, and a good chance for double play. Kinsler in plenty of time to end the inning.
Upton never looked. It was a hit and run. Upton was running, but he never turned around to see where the batter was. The ball was popped up in.
Visit the official online shop of the Texas Rangers at TexasRangers.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the TexasRangers.com shop. Dave Barnett with Tom Grieve in the bottom of the second. Marlon Byrd to be followed by Hank Blaylock and Andrew Jones. David Price worked to 1-2-3 first with a strikeout of David Murphy. And starts Byrd outside. Our Geico quote from Marlon: "It's still not too late. We're still playing for something." They absolutely are.
Better believe it. If the Rangers can win today, and if the A's stay hot, that'll make it a 4-game race going into Anaheim for 4 games. So as difficult as it seems, at least you go into Anaheim for 4 games. Every day you've got something to look for. You say, well, can you beat them 4 straight? Well, who knows? But you didn't think Oakland would go in there and sweep them either. And if they beat them today, they will.
You really didn't expect Oakland would come from 9-2 down. No, from the middle of that game on last night. The Angels gave up 13 runs from the 5th on. Lost 15-10 after leading by 7. Bartlett a step ahead of Marlon Byrd for the first out of the second inning. The Rangers doing their part, their first 2-game win streak since their 3-game sweep at Cleveland, September 8th and 9th. gained a full game on the Angels for just the 4th time in 23 days. And it's the closest to first place for Texas since they were last 5 back on September the 10th. They were 4.5 out on the 9th. And if all goes well today, they could indeed head west, trailing by 4. Oakland has Edgar Gonzalez going today against Joe Saunders, and on paper a big advantage for the Angels in that pitching matchup. Gonzalez is 0 for 3. Saunders is 14-7. But then tomorrow, the first game of the series, the Rangers have the advantage with Tommy Hunter against Irvin Santana, as Blaylock puts that one out of play, still 1-2. Tommy Hunter 9-4 on the year. It'll be his second start against the Angels. Pitched well but lost the first one on the 18th, 2-0. And the Rangers were going through their hitless spell. A call, strike 3, the second Price strikeout in the last 3 batters.
Well, some big time pitches early in the game with his fastball for Price. 93, just went at 94 miles an hour. Watch the glove and watch the ball. Right exactly where Navarro has his glove, outside corner. Pretty tough pitch to hit.
Paul Nowert is calling the balls and strikes. Crew chief Joe West at first, Ed Rapuano at second, and Paul Schreiber is at third. So with 2 outs, the DH Andrew Jones, who sends the ball and the bat both flying behind the plate. Andrew 1 for 4 Thursday, just his 3rd game in about a month. A lot of that time on the DL from August 24th to September 7th with a left hamstring, but only 143 as you see in his last 12 games. 6 for 42. A little bit low. And he has been stuck on 17 home runs since July 8th, when he had 3 at Anaheim, tie the Ranger club record. Since then, 19 appearances, no homers, so he is still 52nd all time with 388, still needing 1 to tie Johnny Bench. And Price thought he had that one. 3 balls and a strike. Not quite, though. And not quite there either. The Rangers get their first base runner, a 2-out walk to Jones to bring up Nelson Cruz. Cruz at 260, 32 homers, only 1 in his last 18 games. Still in the top 5 in the league, tied for 5th. But in that 4 for 30 slump.
Price has been much better at home than he has on the road. 3.11 ERA at home, almost 6 on the road. But as we mentioned in the scouting report, his last 9 starts, he's been really good. He's 6-2 in his last 9 starts. One of those guys with immense talent. He's kind of putting it together as the season goes on, getting stronger at the end. Throwing well today so far.
Continues to miss low, however. And where he really excels, I'd be interested in your explanation of this. His overall ERA is 4.41, but in day games it's 2.83, 5th best in the American League in afternoon baseball.
Yeah, we just had someone else that was like that on the last road trip. I can't explain that. I'm not sure what that means. It may mean absolutely nothing. It may just be the matchup that he had during day games. And if it does mean something, I think you have to go a little bit longer period of time to determine that that would be a trend. But if it does mean something, I don't know what it means.
Center field, back goes Upton, looking up, going along the hill. Number 33 for Nelson Cruz and the Rangers jump out in front.
Well, that ball just jumped out of here. I thought it was a line drive to Upton. And when I looked at Upton, he was looking back at the grass out in center field. Nelly's been struggling, had a couple of days off. First at bat against the lefty, 2-run homer.
Rob Washington said he needed a mental day or two.
Looks like he's not mental anymore then.
Wash has a really good feel for when guys need breaks. Ian Kinsler has benefited from a day off previously this week. And now so has Cruz. 2-0 Rangers, and here's Chris Davis. Last night his third 4-hit game. Upton giving up on this one pretty early. I was with you though. That looked like well hit, but right to the center fielder.
You know, in the daytime, maybe the way the elements are, the wind, but it didn't sound like a normal ball that Nelly hits. Didn't have that same crack to it. But maybe that's just where we are and the way the wind is blowing.
And coming in from the southwest. That looked like there's a considerable jet stream out to center and right center. So number 33 for Cruz. RBIs 75 and 76. 2-2 to Davis. 4 for 5 last night. A double and 3 singles, all from the 5th inning on, 5th through the 8th. Two strikeouts here in the inning for Price, but a 2-out walk to Jones, followed by the homer by Cruz. Brought to you by Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on your car insurance. And by AT&T, switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve on to the third. 2-0 Texas, thanks to the Nelson Cruz 2-out homer. And Chris Richard pops up the second pitch he sees out to Marlon Byrd.
Dave, on a sad note, we'd like to send our condolences to the Frazier family for their loss. Our heartfelt sympathy goes out to you.
DeHonor Navarro now, the Rays catcher, at 218. And in a 1-for-20 slump. And to left this time, ranging over David Murphy. 3 pitches and 2 quick outs for Brandon McCarthy.
Yeah, very efficient with his pitches so far in the ballgame. 25 pitches, 2 outs in the 3rd inning.
18 strikes, only 7 balls. Singles in the first, to Bartlett. In the second to Upton. But then he got Gross to pop into the double play, doubling up Upton off first. And the top of the order, Jason Bartlett. A 1-1 pitch, single to center, and then stole his 26th base. But was left at second. And a good curve quickly branded out in front, 0-2. Looking to shut the Rays down immediately after being given the lead. And Bartlett did not appear to see that one coming at all.
That's a hard one to get out of the way of right there. That's not in front of you. That's slightly behind you. You don't know whether to go forward or back. Your normal inclination is to go back. And I think that ball hit him in the shoulder. And it looks like he's okay, which is nice to see. It's a scary area to see a ball come at you, boy.
Yeah, but thank goodness it was off his shoulder and not higher. First I thought that was maybe off his ear flap.
That was about 6 inches away from being there. Fortunately, Jason's all right.
And immediately running, but is gunned down by Taylor Teagarden to end the inning. Well, the good news, he felt good enough to steal. The even better news, Taylor Teagarden ended the inning. Catch all the action of the 2009 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 7th with the Division Series on TBS. And who knows, Rangers may be in it. Still very much mathematically alive. They have seized the momentum in the division, as the Angels have dropped 4 straight. The Rangers have won their last 2, and they lead here 2-0. Taylor Teagarden immediately after gunning down Jason Bartlett to end the top half of the inning, adding 208, 6 homers, 22 runs batted in. Upton watches that one run hop the wall in center.
That ball is flying out to center field. They let the ballpark's too small. That would appear to be the way and the location to hit it. Line drives to center, slightly toward right center, and that would appear to be a decent pitch to hit. Outside part of the plate in the rectangle. Taylor's got some power. He can put a charge in it.
That's his 11th double of the year. So a leadoff 2-bagger. Now the top of the order, Kinsler. First time up, fly to right. Great chance here to add to a 2-0 lead, courtesy Nelson Cruz's 2-run home run, following a 2-out walk to Andrew Jones in the second. The 17th home run allowed by Price. This is 22nd start. Longoria charges, and Kinsler does his job, advancing Teagarden to third.
Excellent job. You lay down a perfect bunt and get lucky, maybe you get a base hit, but at the very least, when you bunt it to the third baseman, you'll move the guy to third, and that's what you're trying to do right there. Good job.
And well played by Longoria. But Elvis Andrus now with the infield in as we play in the third inning. Joe Madden trying to keep this 2-run game. First time up, Elvis grounded to third. And Price backs him off. And that hit him. That's grazed his jersey.
Must have caught his jersey.
He got off much better than Bartlett did when McCarthy plunked him. Barely.
Elvis just grazed it.
So first and third. And the Rays back out to double play depth now for David Murphy, who was caught looking to end the first. Murphy has been coming through time and again in these situations, and he's been doing it, Tom, lately, regardless of whether it's a righty or a lefty he's facing.
Yeah, I think starting about 6 weeks ago, David started to hit left-handers really well. Had the home run off Andy Pettit in New York. Another line shot doubled on the right field line against Phil Koch.
Andrus going. He is out. Out number 2 as Navarro throws out Andrus, and just the 5th man to do it this year.
And the only problem with trying to steal a base right there is if you get thrown out, now you take away the sacrifice fly. And now it's 2 outs. You need a base hit to score the runner.
Well, he ran into Bartlett's leg. Problem. I think otherwise he would have been there. Murphy's pop ends up out of play. So what a change. You had Teagarden at second with nobody out, third at 1 out, now 2 outs. You'll see Bartlett blocking the bag.
Yep, he's definitely out. I think he might have snuck in there if he didn't run into Bartlett's leg.
I think so.
Same time, Bartlett's lucky he didn't get spiked in the ankle.
1 and 2 to Murphy. You mentioned David's recent homers off left-handed pitchers. If he hits one here off Price, he has really done something, because David Price has given up exactly 1 to a left-handed hitter in his career in 100 at bats. That was Chase Utley last June 23rd. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So not even to an American League hitter. It was an interleague play against the Phillies this year. Murphy's staying alive. If he can reach, then it's Marlon Byrd. Boston losing to New York yesterday, so the Rangers picked up a game in the wild card, 6 back with 8 to play behind the Red Sox. Out to left field, easy play for Carl Crawford, and Navarro throwing out Andrus, the key to that 3rd inning. Rangers had a great early scoring chance, and they get nothing, still leading 2. Wildman Bird has 3 career grand slams here at Rangers Ballpark, tied for the second most in ballpark history. Who has the most? Chew on that as Carl Crawford, Evan Longoria, and Ben Zobrist bat against Brandon McCarthy here in the 4th. 2 hits apiece, but the Rangers leading 2-0 on Nelson Cruz's 2-out 2-run home run in inning number 2. Crawford lined to right his first trip. And a nice block by Taylor Teagarden. Thinking back on Andrus being caught, that simply looked like good luck by Bartlett. You don't see shortstops volunteer to get spiked to block the bag like that.
No, I doubt that he tried to come in front of the bag to block the bag with his feet like that. I think that's just where he ended up to catch the throw. And he was kind of fortunate that Elvis's cleats looked like they slid off his shoe.
One of the few that has gotten past Andrus. Up the middle, hit just hard enough. And let's check in with Jim Knox.
Okay, Dave, you know, Fan Appreciation Day, and I tell you what, the Rangers really awarded fan appreciation to some of the fans. These fans were in the upper deck, and then what happened?
They just came up to us and told us we want tickets to a suite.
Sweet. Now they get to enjoy the game. Let's see, we got about 10 families on hand and 3 suites. Way to go, enjoying the game, right? All right. Fan Appreciation Day today, Dave.
Evan Longoria shoots one through the hole, and suddenly trouble for McCarthy. Back-to-back singles to lead off the 4th. And now Ben Zobrist robbed on a terrific barehand play. Andrus charging in the 1st. But an opportunity here for Zobrist. 24 homers, 79 runs batted in. Angels off to an early lead. Behind Joe Saunders against Edgar Gonzalez of Oakland. And of course we will keep you updated throughout. Well, the Rangers close to having 2nd and 3rd with 1 out before Andrus was thrown out, and ended up with nothing in their 3rd inning chance. Now that's what they need to allow Tampa Bay here in the 4th. Nothing. Hang on to this 2-0 lead. McCarthy's curves have tended to be missing high so far, as that one did. 6th inning at Yankee Stadium, Boston leading 2-1 behind Paul Bird. Left field, back a ways is Murphy. Tagging is the speedy Crawford. Just in time, both runners move up.
Well, he was safe because he can run. That was a great throw from David Murphy. Crawford's one of the fastest guys in the league, and he just barely made it. Saw a similar situation in Oakland with Craig Gentry throwing home, and Davis just barely beating it. He was safe. He got his foot in, but boy, that's a close play. If somehow David dropped that on the other side of the base, he would have been out.
Yep, just a few feet the other side of the bag. That's out number 2, and a huge double play. Willie Ibar flied to center his first time up. A repeat would bring in Crawford with the first Tampa Bay run. Longoria at 2nd. Ibar 1 for 9 against Ranger pitching this series. With his 9-game hitting streak snapped last night. In that Red Sox-Yankees game, Paul Bird so far out pitching Andy Pettitte. He's going for his 14th win against 7 losses. Bird just 1 and 2. Way out in front of the change.
Several good change-ups by Brandon. Waved at both of them. He'll use a strikeout right here. Might have to throw the same pitch again, make it about 6 inches lower, so he can't hit it if he times it a little better.
just missed away. 2-2. Tampa Bay 0 for 5 in the 2 series here at the ballpark this year, and they've scored only a total of 10 runs in those 5 games and hit 165 as a team. And their starters have allowed 26 earned runs in 26 innings. So they haven't played well offensively, defensively, certainly not with their pitching. Chance to tie it up here, though. And Ibar stays alive.
Threw him a good fastball right there. He was a little bit late on it. A gutsy pitch right here would be the same changeup that he's waved at a couple of times. After that fastball, he may be geared up to hit another fastball. If he is, the way he swung at the first 2 changeups, he might have some success.
That will be a one-hopper. Andrews will run right at Crawford.
Don't even throw it.
And Teagarden applies the tag for out number 2.
Good play. Very good play by Elvis. Totally under control. Didn't panic. Didn't throw it too quick. Rangers pick up a nice out right there. Crawford. Not sure. Well, I guess Crawford figures it's going to be the same thing anyway. He might as well try to go to third.
With Longoria bearing down on him, they were both going to get caught on the same bat.
One of them was going to be out. They end up pretty much where they were to begin with.
Longoria gets 2 bases on the fielder's choice.
The reason Crawford didn't score was he went back. He thought it might be in the air, so he went back in case it was. Once he went back with Longoria going to third, they were kind of out of luck. A little humpback line drive fooled Crawford, who played it safe. Longoria, from his angle, saw that it wouldn't go that far, and so he went. Rangers catch a break right there.
And now McCarthy out in front of Upton. Upton singled his first time up. What?
That's pitching out of the jam, Dave.
From 2 on, nobody out, in scoring position, McCarthy keeps it 2-0 Rangers. Well, let's answer today's Aflac trivia question. Had to do with Marlon Byrd, 3 career slams here, tied for second most in ballpark history. And who has more Rusty Greer, 4 grand slams here at Rangers Ballpark. That was called just simply the ballpark in Arlington. Well, Marlon Byrd hopes that he's back next year. The Rangers certainly hope he's back. Ron Washington really hopes he's back. And one of the biggest stories of the offseason will involve whether the Rangers can re-sign him. Now, the story right here is David Price coming out to throw some warm-up tosses, and then
he must have something on his arm. I don't know whether it's some kind of a mentholated rub to create heat on his arm or exactly what it is. But you see the white residue, whatever it is, he doesn't want it there. Either that or it was white and the umpires didn't want it there. You can't have anything white on your glove side, whether it's on your glove, your wrist, your arm, because it blends in with the ball. I'm not sure if that's what the case was or it was just something that was bothering his arm.
Well, from the looks of Madden arguing this, it looks like he was ordered by the umpires.
Yeah, it does. It does. Madden looked like he was arguing with him.
So taken care of now. And speaking of Marlon Byrd, he will lead off the Ranger fourth, followed by Blaylock and Jones.
By coincidence, Joe West, the umpire at first base, was in Baltimore when Scott Feldman had to change gloves.
He is a stickler. And so trying to explain it to Madden. First walked away, and that's about half of what Joe West used to look like. He's dropped. It's got to be 100 pounds, maybe more, over the years. First pitch, breaking ball, strike to Byrd, who grounded to short, leading off the second inning. But what a job by Brandon McCarthy getting out of that jam. Keeping it 2-0. 0-2. David Price has pitched well. Only one mistake. It was a big one. A 2-1 pitch Nelson Cruz put out on Greens Hill. Following a 2-out walk to Jones in the second. Broken bat. Out to Crawford.
That ball went pretty well considering how the bat ended up.
Bat ended up right where Longoria was standing near third base. So Byrd 0 for 2. And now Hank Blaylock caught looking his first trip. An early final. Toronto has helped the Rangers stave off Seattle's bid to catch them for second in the division with a 5-4 win at the Rogers Center. As Blaylock wails at the first pitch by Price. Rays have now out-hit Texas 4-2. Cruz's homer, and the only other hit, the leadoff double by Taylor Teagarden in the third. When the Rangers missed a great scoring chance, Kinsler sacrificed him to third. Andrews hit by a pitch, but then caught stealing, and Murphy ended the threat with a fly out to Teagarden, or out to Crawford, leaving Teagarden at third. But then the Rays followed up, missing an even better scoring chance. So still 2-0 Texas. Looking to finish off their second 3-game sweep of Tampa Bay here in Arlington this year. The first was July 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Medium center for Upton. And 2 gone. 56 pitches so far through 3 2/3. That's lower than usual for Price. Throws a lot of pitches. He averages 18 per inning, and if he had enough innings pitched to qualify, that would be the most in the majors. 93 strikeouts in 116 innings coming in, and 50 walks. He's cut down on the walks recently, but they absolutely killed him the first half of the season. First pitch to Jones also flies out to Upton. And a very quick 1-2-3. The first for Price since the first. It's on. And by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. On to the fifth. Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve on Fan Appreciation Day. Good crowd at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. 91 degrees when we began. Gabe Gross, Chris Richard, Deanna Navarro, bottom third of the Tampa Bay order against Brandon McCarthy, who brilliantly got out of a 2-on nobody out jam last inning.
Yeah, Brandon made some real good pitches. He's been pitching well. Hasn't walked a batter. He's only thrown 50 pitches now into the fifth inning.
Fifth start since he returned from the DL September 1st. 2-2, both losses to Oakland in his last two starts. And Ian Kinsler handles the first out. Gross 0 for 2. Popped into an inning-ending double play in the second. And now Chris Richard, who led the third with a fly to center. Richard is 35, a 19th round pick by the Cardinals in 1995. He made it to St. Louis for all of 6 games 5 years after being drafted in 2000. And then the Cardinals sent him to Baltimore for 3 years, where he got virtually all his major league experience, really. Last 3 years he's been at Tampa Bay's AAA Durham club, and today his 9th game, his 4th start after being called up September 7th when they lost Carlos Pena for the year. This year
he was in the Ranger organization for a year too, not in the big leagues. I might be wrong on that. I thought he might have spent some time in Oklahoma City.
This year his first major league action in 6 years. He got into 19 games with the Rockies in 2003. So at age 35, hanging on to the dream, and he's finally made it back, if only for about a month. And he gets a 4-pitch walk, and now McCarthy has issued a walk, not to the guy that he was trying to be careful with at all. Richard hitting 143 in the 8 games since his call up, without so much as a run batted in. So that gets Mike Maddox out for a quick chat before the number 9 hitter, Deanna Navarro. Now Navarro may be the most disappointing player in the majors. Last year an all-star. This year he has never been above 231, and he's at 217 right here. Lays down a good bunt though. Davis on the bare hand pulls Blaylock off the bag, and for the second straight inning McCarthy's got to deal with 2 men on.
You don't expect the catcher to be bunting in that situation, so you're not playing in at all. Chris made a pretty nice play fielding it on the run. Might have had Navarro if it was a throw that allowed Hank to stay on the bag. We'll get a pretty good look at it right here. But with the third baseman back, Navarro's not concentrating on making a perfect bunt. He just wanted to get it down so the pitcher couldn't field it.
That goes as a hit. And the top of the order, Bartlett. Blaylock giving good chase to that one, but off the roof of the Ranger dugout. Bartlett has not been retired yet today. Singled, stole second in the first, hit by a pitch, caught stealing to end the third. So Navarro with that bunt hit ends a 1 for 21 slump, and a 4-pitch walk to Richard could come back to bite McCarthy here, unless he pitches out of the jam here in the 5th the way he did in the 4th. Best in the league in these situations. Bartlett with runners in scoring positions, been at the top virtually all year. Just about the same area as his first pop foul. Dustin Nippert getting up, which you would not normally expect with the starter working on a shutout and at just 59 pitches. But Well, Washington can't mess around here. With a 2-0 lead, he's got to do everything he can. And that would include using anybody or everybody, theoretically, out of his bullpen. It is McCarthy's misfortune, again, not to have much in the way of run support, especially after all the runs that poured forth last night. 3 runs in his last 3 starts combined, including today, have been scored for Brandon. 2-2 to Bartlett. But he still has the most run support in the majors. 7.5 runs per game. It's just been shut out the last 3 starts. Very bad time for that to happen. Double play ball here. Andrews, Kinsler, Blaylock, and again McCarthy works out of trouble. Halfway through, still.
That's going to be in Toronto. Doesn't, I mean, Tampa doesn't look like they're real.
Full season tickets for 2010 guaranteed the best seat locations at the very best prices. Rangers season tickets offer the best benefits package of any DFW sports team. For more information, call 972 Rangers extension 3. Dave Farnett and Tom Grieve, and we are joined by Steve Busby. It's the Rangers bat in the 5th, leading 2-0. Brandon McCarthy, last 2 innings, what an escape job.
Yeah, a little help from his friends. The defense has been very, very good, and McCarthy has been able to get the ball down when he has needed to, and that last double play is certainly a case in point.
Bottom 3rd of the order, Cruz responsible for all the scoring with a 2-out 2-run homer in the 2nd. Then Davis and Teagarden. David Price pitching his 3rd start against the Rangers, who first time gave him his shortest start of the season. He got only 4 outs in the series here in early July. It looked better than that when the Rangers were in Tampa a few weeks ago, and better still today. A line drive to Gabe Gross. What do you see in the evolution of David Price?
Well, I think, Dave, what I see from him is a much more calm motion. He's simplified his motion going back to the postseason run that he had last year. He had much more of a violent delivery, I thought, and he's done a good job of kind of calming that down, making his motion much more simple, which promotes consistency. And, you know, the time you mentioned pitching against the Rangers earlier this year, walks had killed him in those outings, and he has not had that problem, at least so far, against the Rangers.
Yeah, I think, Buzz, when you go back and you look at the walks, and during that time, that 8-start period, he had 30 walks in 8 starts. Since that time, in 13 starts, he's only had 20 walks. So he has definitely cut that part down.
Yeah.
Chris Davis struck out after the Cruz homer to end the second. He also has two of the Rangers' 3 hits today. 0-2 to Davis. How much of what we have seen from the Rangers offensively do you think has to do with the fact that probably even the Rangers considered the race virtually over, and with the pressure off, suddenly the offensive jets have been opened up?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that, Dave. I think you listen to guys like Marlon Byrd who said, hey, we're just playing relaxed baseball now. I think that's while not coming right out and saying it, it's a matter of just, okay, well, we did what we did to ourselves, and now we just have to go out and play and see what happens. There is a certain measure of not having the pressure that has been put on them, either internally or externally. But it's kind of fun to watch. They still realize and believe that there is a chance. Now, how much of a chance, it probably varies from individual to individual. But if they're anything like me, I didn't believe completely until last night when the Angels blew a 7-run lead with Lackey on the mound. I'm not so sure this thing is over as much as we wanted to think it was.
Do you see, as the Rangers prepare to go out to Anaheim, the Angels being a team that will gut up when they have to and close it out, or do you now see them being vulnerable?
Well, it may go back with the Rangers and Angels to earlier this year. I'm not so sure that the Rangers don't have the advantage going into Anaheim playing against an Angel team. Even though it's a veteran team, they've been there before, they've been through the wars, they know how to win. They still haven't played well lately, and they know they've struggled this year against the Ranger team, and Rangers have beaten them virtually in every way possible, winning 10 out of 15, either by out-slugging them or out-pitching them or out-defensing them.
Well, yeah, when the Rangers go into Anaheim, they'll definitely have a lot less to lose than the Angels with their big lead playing at home. So I would think that the relaxed atmosphere in the Ranger clubhouse would continue when they go into Anaheim for sure.
Jack in the box standings there. It is 2-0 LA in the top of the third behind Joe Saunders leading Oakland today. And Davis hanging in there at 2-2. Boston still trailing 3-2 at Yankee Stadium. That one in the seventh. The wild card race still worth watching. Mathematically, they're still in it, but no head-to-head left for Boston.
Yeah, and I think the schedule favors Boston. They have Baltimore and Cleveland on their schedule in Fenway Park, and that's not really a favorable matchup for the Rangers. You figure Boston would probably win 3 of those 7 games. I would hope.
Good pitchers duel here. What would you think of Brandon McCarthy's chances of making the rotation next year?
It's going to be a dogfight. I see McCarthy probably in the mix with maybe 3 other guys going after the 4th and 5th spots.
What an at-bat by Chris Davis. Foul after foul before shooting one through the opposite field, and now 2 on, nobody out for Taylor Teagarden.
You go back to the first at-bat that Chris had. Price blew him away with a fastball on the outside half of the plate. And Chris obviously made some adjustments in that at-bat because he fouled off some tough pitches. All the fastballs are on the outside part of the plate just like they were the first time up. But instead of missing them, he fouled them off and then hit a really nice outside fastball in the left field.
As that
excellent job.
Ambit pitch tracker showed, 7 of the first 8 pitches strikes away, and the one he hit was a ball. But just made it apparently all that easier to go the opposite field with it.
I think just the approach that he had and the feeling that Price is going to continue to throw him fastballs away allowed that all to happen.
So Taylor Teagarden, who doubled, leading off the third.
Definite bunt situation right here. You want to bunt it right straight to the third baseman. Don't try to get fancy. It doesn't have to be a great bunt. You can bunt it as hard as you want almost.
Well, as last night, Eddie Guardado got to finish up, and that is indeed his swan song, at least here at home. It's nice that he got a chance to go out with one more outing before the Rangers leave for the rest of the year.
He had a 1-2-3 inning. That's Eddie is certainly deserves all the good things that have happened to him. And
it's foul now, 0-2.
Last night, if indeed that that is the last time that Ranger fans here in Arlington get a chance to see him pitch. That's classic Eddie. Just come in, get the job done, and head on to the dugout. He's been a great addition to this club, I think, Dave, in that he's brought a lot of experience and a willingness to share his experiences to a relatively young bullpen. And I think that's a great tribute to him, but it's also been a big benefit for the Rangers.
Yeah, he has maybe been to the pitching staff what Omar Vizquel has been to Elvis Andrus.
Yep, good analogy.
Some of the young infielders. And keeping the willingness to share. 0-2 pitch is high and away.
You don't always find that in veteran ball players. It's I look fondly back at some of the guys that when I was coming up really took me under their wing and taught me how to be a major league player.
Who were those guys?
Oh, Cookie Rojas, for one. Cookie really taught me how to be a competitor at the major league level, how to take all the things that I'd learned and put them in a package that worked. And you had veteran guys. Bobby Knopp, when I first came up, a great second baseman who was finishing off his career, did the same kind of thing. But they were very willing and adamant about imparting the experiences they'd had to other people's benefit. And I think that's one thing that sadly is kind of missing in baseball today, the veterans that are willing to do that.
Teagarden works the count full. Is it more a matter that the rookies have to ask now that the veterans are going to give away any of their knowledge? They're not necessarily going to volunteer.
Well, I just think that baseball clubs in general at the major league level are not quite as close knit and not as focused on how to perpetuate a winning attitude as things used to be.
The 3-2 pitch blown past him for the first out. Big strikeout for David Price. His first since the second inning, his fourth of the day.
And Taylor failed to get the bunt down the first 2 pitches, then worked the count to 3-2, and then Price threw a fastball by him on the outside part of the plate. Taylor hit a line shot double to lead off the third inning his last time up.
So Ian Kinsler now top of the order. He had a successful sacrifice last time up. First time flied to right. Toward the gap in left center, in there. Upton one-hands it as Cruz will score without a throw. 3-0 Texas. And Ian Kinsler drives in his 85th run of the year. So the Rangers take advantage and extend the lead on Kinsler's 29th two-bagger.
Well, when this series starts, you see that you're going to face James Shields, Matt Garza, and David Price as an offensive unit. You know you're going to be tested because those 3 guys are 3 excellent pitchers in the big leagues. And the Rangers have handled Shields really well. They handled Garza, who was throwing the ball great at the beginning of the game anyway, and they're having a good game right now against David Price too. The offense is really picking up.
Joe Madden, and not the pitching coach, Jim Hickey, out for this chap. And he will get his bullpen going. First, Elvis Andrus, who was hit by a pitch, then caught stealing in what looked like a promising third inning. Taylor Teagarden ended the inning at third on a David Murphy fly out. Here, a run in. Davis at third, Kinsler at second, and only 1 out. And the infield will come in for the Rays, hoping to keep it a 3-run game. You believe, Buzz, in the sophomore jinx in baseball? Is there any reason to expect that Elvis won't make big strides next year with all he's learned this year as a rookie?
I'm not sure it will be as big as the strides he has made this year, because this year he had more of them to show people that he could accomplish defensively, offensively. I don't see him having a big fall off, though. I'm not a big believer in that sophomore jinx, because to me it involves the league trying to catch up with a player. Now, you can say, well, Chris Davis had that happen to him. Yeah, and then that is a case that he didn't make the secondary adjustments to what the league was doing to him. he has now, and it's become a little bit better.
A squeeze, suicide, to perfection, and the throw is late. Andrus drives in Davis and gets a base hit out of it.
Well, there's not a more exciting play in baseball than a squeeze play. The fans don't see it very often. They don't expect it. And when it develops, it's really exciting for the fans. And they pulled it off to perfection right here. Elvis bunted the curveball. Basically, as a bunter, a hitter, all you have to do is get it fair. The runner's gotten a great jump. The fielders don't have time to make the play at the plate. And Elvis did that. You see Chris crossing the plate. The Rangers pick up another run. Yeah, Dave, getting back to your question about Elvis, I think he's a lot less prone to anything like that, even if you do believe it, than another player, just because you know he's going to get steadier defensively. He's a guy that doesn't strike out very much. He makes contact. He'll take some pitches. He's a good learner. He's got good makeup. So it'd be really difficult to see Elvis falling back next year at all. He's going to get better and better as his career goes on, just like he has as this season's gone on.
1-1 to Murphy, who is 0 for 2. A 2-run Ranger fifth. 4 hits. They had only 2 coming into this inning. Cruz and Davis started it with singles after Teagarden strikeout. Kinsler doubled home Cruz, and now Andrus on a perfect suicide squeeze has brought home Davis.
And you may not look at this as a learning experience, but maybe you can look at it as a learning experience. Earlier in the season, there was a squeeze opportunity for Elvis. He bunted through the ball. The squeeze wasn't successful. The runner was out. I think he might have had one more attempt during the season, but then late in the season, here the same opportunity comes up, and this time he kept the bunt fair.
Marlon Byrd on deck. A great quote, the story by Anthony Andro in the Morning News. Anthony asked him at the beginning of the year, what would you have thought if you were the Rangers RBI leader? He said, well, I would think we're in last place.
You know what? That's an honest answer. Because so would a lot of other people.
Plenty deep out to Upton. And here comes Ian Kinsler. It is 5-0 Rangers.
Well, David against a tough left-hander, making contact, getting it up in the air. Did that the last time up too, but Andrus had been thrown out stealing, so it was the 3rd out of the inning. This time it picks up another run.
Murphy with his 55th run batted in. Andrus still at first, 2 outs as we look at our Ford leaderboard. And Marlin with 88. Kinsler with his double here in the inning up to 85 now.
Buzz, I don't know if you've had a better inning than this.
No, this
from
is
a strictly baseball standpoint. This is some pretty good baseball right here.
Yeah, get me into September. I'm better that month.
See, you're a learner. You're developing this year. That's some good baseball there. You get a couple of men on, don't get the bunt down, then you get a squeeze play, a sacrifice fly.
And again, it's the 5th inning. Was that the craziest inning you've ever seen last night?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, David, watch it. Craziest inning, certainly with 2 outs. And that just, well, you talk about falling apart in a hurry. Or if you're the Rangers coming together in a hurry, which it certainly did.
One of the biggest 2-out rallies in baseball history. 0-2 now. Price at 88 pitches. He has thrown 30 here in the 5th inning. He was at 58 after throwing just 8 in the 4th. Getting Bird, Blaylock, and Jones in order. 31st pitch this inning into the club deck. Still 0-2. Last night, Ranger record for 2-out runs. 2 off the Major League record. Last achieved 53 years ago, and only 4 other teams in the last 35 years have scored 11 after 2 were out. So it was kind of a Haley's Comet inning. Every way you slice it up for the Rangers. And that type of thing seems to be one of those deals that just builds on itself.
Yeah.
One guy gets hot, the next guy, and then suddenly everybody figures out it's feeding time. Running is Andrews, and he is safe this time after being gunned down by Navarro in the third. Number 32.
Elvis does what a lot of veteran base stealers don't do. Only 21 years old. He watched the play at the plate the whole way. Most guys just take off blindly and go into second base. Even with 2 outs, he was looking to see what happened.
Just the 5th major leaguer to have 30 steals in a season in which he spent most of the year at age 20. So, in addition to his defense, the speed has been there all year. The offense has really come on second half of the season. And Price, who was at 58 pitches when this 5th inning started, is at 92 now. And still needs a strike to get Bird. That one down the line, but will slice back into the seats. This may well be the last inning for Price. Meanwhile, the Angels have added to their lead and now up 4-0 over Edgar Gonzalez and the A's in the 4th. Joe Saunders pitching well for LA. Toronto has beaten Seattle 5-4. And at the moment, Seattle back to 6 behind Texas in the race for second. Elvis stealing third, and he is gunned down. So, a 3-run 5th inning. Nice job, Buzz.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It's been fun.
Thanks, Buzz.
Talk to you afterwards.
5-0 Texas. Appreciation Day. Big crowd, 91 degrees, but breezy. Not the most uncomfortable weather you could ask for late September. And the score definitely to everybody's liking here. Carl Crawford, Evan Longoria, and Ben Zobrist in the Tampa Bay 6th. 5-hit shutout so far by McCarthy. He's worked out of a couple of jams the last 2 innings. 2 runners on in each case. Last time got Jason Bartlett to end it with a 6-4-3 double play, and it doesn't happen too often to Bartlett. Just his 5th double play he's grounded into all year. A easy roller, and Kinsler makes Crawford out number 1. Dustin Nippert back up. McCarthy only at 65 pitches. So if he could work through a quick 60 here, no reason couldn't expect him to get maybe even a couple more innings.
Yeah, you just never know what's going on though in the dugout. Maybe he doesn't feel good. There could be other issues going on. You know, maybe the Rangers are saying, hey, look, this kid's been hurt so much. We want to make sure he stays healthy. He's throwing the ball well. Doesn't have to prove to us that he can go 8 or 9 innings. Maybe we want to try to keep his pitch count down just to make sure he gets through the season healthy. Just guesses. I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
62 pitches through 5. He had a 9-pitch second, a 7-pitch third, and those have, you would think, left plenty of gas in his tank.
Yeah, you would. And I think if you could have any one of your pitchers 1 out into the 6th inning under 70 pitches, you'd say that's a good spot to be.
That one off the fists out to Bird. 2 gone in the 6th. Longoria now 1 for 3. And let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, for the final time this regular season, I'm here to remind you to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com, it is Fox Sports Southwest, and on Twitter.com, it is FS Southwest. It's been a wonderful regular season. I will so miss these 6th inning visits with you boys.
Oh, as will we.
Likewise, Em.
But I bet you're not missing the had to be 120 degrees on the floor of DKR Memorial Stadium in Austin yesterday.
It was a little toasty in Austin yesterday, almost as hot as it was. Actually, it was a little hotter than it is here today, but I survived. I think I lost a few pounds as well.
Well, in a game that was non-competitive, to say the least, 64-7, your usual fine work in Austin yesterday. Broken bat. Andrus on the backhand gets Zobrist, and a 1-2-3 6th inning for McCarthy, still leading 5-0. Sonic Slam Inning brought to you by Sonic. Today's jackpot worth $100 plus 2 tickets to a Rangers game at dinner for 2 at a Sonic Drive-In. The Rangers today are hitting for Ruby Burford from Dallas. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Ruby Burford will win $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. And for the Rangers, a new pitcher to face, veteran right-hander Russ Springer. David Price goes 5 innings, 5 runs on 6 hits. He struck out 4 and walked 1.
Yeah, for the second straight day, the Rangers against a young pitcher who had good stuff, had a good offensive output. They really worked David Price over in the 5th inning. Got his pitch count up, scored 3 runs, take a 5-0 lead into the bottom of the 6th. Had a good day against Garza yesterday and a good day against James Shields. 3 good, solid big league pitchers.
Springer 1-4, 425 earned run average, his 72nd appearance, 3rd most in the American League, and his 4th straight year of at least 70. Marlon Byrd at the plate as Andrews ended the last inning, being thrown out trying to steal 3rd. It was ball 4 to Marlon. So Blaylock leads off this inning, and then Jones and Cruz. Deanna Navarro twice has thrown out Elvis Andrews today. Elvis has 1 stolen base. Navarro was 15 out of 70 for the year, just 21% catching base stealers. 2-2 now to Blaylock. So in our discussion of where Elvis is, very advanced certainly for his age and for a rookie, but definitely an area in which he's continuing to make some mental errors. When to steal.
Yeah, I think in that situation, if you steal 3rd base with 2 outs, you have to really make sure that you can beat the throw. I thought he was safe, but under those circumstances, it can't be a close play. You have to be safe. You've got good hitters coming up, and with a 5-0 lead, there's not a lot to be gained with 2 outs to steal 3rd base. Better to be at 3rd than it is to be at 2nd. So if you can do it, and you know you can do it, that's fine. But it's going to be a close play. I think you're better off staying where you are.
But you just said the key word. You got to know you can do it.
And I'm sure he felt he could when he took off. And I'm sure if you asked Elvis, he'd say, "Hey, I was safe. My foot got there before the throw." And he might be right. Look that way from where we were anyway.
Blaylock stays alive at 2-2. He has struck out and applied to center. Hank in these last 8 starts at first, hitting .313. A couple of homers, 8 runs batted in. That one might be playable. Nope. Then carries it back behind the dugout, and it's still 2-2. There is some good news involving Michael Young, who came into Ron Washington's office this afternoon and pronounced himself ready to at least pinch hit today, and he says he's ready to play 3rd base tomorrow. And Wash said, "Michael, you sure? 3rd base? You haven't really taken that many ground balls, or really any to speak of." He said, "Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'll go right out and show you," which he was then going to do as soon as Wash finished up with his pregame media chat. Crawford comes in for the 1st out. So Michael Young says he is ready to play 3rd in Anaheim tomorrow. Let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, Fan Appreciation Day continues. Matthew from Keller, big-time Ranger fan. What'd you get here, buddy?
A Nolan Ryan signed baseball.
There we go. The Rangers handed that to you. What do you think about that?
I'm so excited.
There we go. Very excited. Well, thank you very much, Matthew. Enjoy the game. Thanks, Dave.
All right, Doxing. Yeah, there should be good stuff to be handed out on the Fan Appreciation Day. And foul ball just on top of our roof here. We almost got a Fan Appreciation Day gift. That would have been my first foul ball this year. And those folks just below us were the lucky recipients, or targets, depending on how you look at it. Slow roller, Longoria with a nice pick, and Jones 0 for 2, but with a walk in the 2nd inning with 2 outs, followed by Nelson Cruz's 33rd home run of the year. And here is Nell, who's 2 for 2, also singled and scored in the 5th. So making Ron Washington again look like a genius when it comes to knowing when his players need that mental day off. Well, he's actually had only a little off the bench duty in the last 3 games. Came off the bench Thursday in Oakland. Got a couple at bats. He is 1 walk from joining Rafael Palmeiro and Ian Kinsler as the only Rangers ever to have 30 homers, 50 walks, and 20 steals in the same season. That's happened only a half a dozen times since 2001 in the American League. 3 of those were by A-Rod. Ian Kinsler just joined the group a couple of homers ago. Who's not close to a walk here against Springer, down 0-2. And a 13-pitch inning for Russ Springer. We head to the 7th. Still 5-0 Texas. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Brandon McCarthy working on a 5-hit shutout into the 7th. Willie Ibar, B.J. Upton, and Gabe Gross. And Ibar 0 for 2. Fly to center and a fielder's choice. Check swing. Still 0-2.
A good game for Brandon because he's had good command of his pitches and they're all working pretty well for him. He's had a better changeup today. Good command of his fastball. He only walked 1 batter.
Close on the curve. Dustin Nippert had gotten up a couple of times, but now it is Darren O'Day loosening up in the Ranger pen. Blaylock will handle it unassisted. Out in Anaheim, the Angels have added another run and now up 5-0 over Oakland, trying to end their 4-game losing streak. Joe Saunders continues to work on a shutout.
That ball looked like it was going to hit him.
Off the fist foul by Upton, who was singled and struck out. Very nearly did.
I think it would have hit him in the right side of his waist if he didn't foul that pitch off. That's just not having much of a plan when you go up and swing at that pitch.
Upton strikeout in the 4th, ended the longest streak of his career without strikeouts. His last 6 games. He is 6th in the league. That was number 149 for the year. They're in the top of the 5th in Anaheim. 5-0 Angels. Saunders going for his 15th win against 7 losses. Bottom of the 8th, Yankees 4, Boston 2.
Good changeup. Probably maybe the best changeup Brandon's had in the last couple of starts. Got a lot of swings and misses with it, which shows you he's got excellent deception. Good movement on it. Threw it for a strike and he still missed it.
So 7 in a row set down. That is his 3rd strikeout. Upton is 2 of those 3. And now Gross ended the 2nd with a fielder's choice and started the 5th with a grounder to 2nd. First pitch pop up here. Andrews barely out in the grass, and another 1-2-3 inning for Brandon McCarthy. Stretch time here in Arlington. 5-0 Rangers, and time for out in the bleachers. 5-0 Rangers, despite only a 6-5 edge in base hits. Nelson Cruz got it started, a 2-out home run in the 2nd inning. Brandon McCarthy with one of his strongest outings in a Ranger uniform. 83 pitches, only 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and only 5 hits. And the last one, the bunt single by Navarro in the 5th. Since then, including the double play, 8 in a row have been set down. Third Tampa Bay pitcher of the afternoon is Dan Wheeler, 31-year-old right-hander out of Warwick, Rhode Island. And Davis goes after the first pitch out into fairly deep center to Upton. And Chris now 1 for 3. Russ Springer worked an inning with a strikeout in the 6th. After the starter David Price gave up all 5 runs in his 5 innings on 6 hits. Price today was bidding to join Jeff Neiman as the other Tampa Bay rookie starter with 10 wins. It would be just the 4th set of American League rookie teammates since 1980, each to win in double figures. But that will have to wait for Price's final start of the year. In 5 days, here is Taylor Teagarden. Doubled leading off the 3rd. Ended up a missed opportunity for the Rangers. He was left on 3rd base. Last time up, struck out after Cruz and Davis had opened the 5th with singles. But then Ian Kinsler doubled home Cruz, and Elvis Andrus with a perfect suicide squeeze brought home Chris Davis. Kinsler scored on a sacrifice fly by Murphy to complete the Rangers' 3-run 5th. Sky high. Crawford back finally on the warning track. Oh, that really carried.
That ball, I thought it was going to be about right to him without him going back at all.
I think so did Carl. It looked like medium deep left. It ended up almost up against the wall.
Which I think shows how well Brandon's been pitching today to keep any ball like that from being hit. Any ball up in the air, especially to right center field. They really haven't hit a lot of balls hard today.
Crawford started a good 20-25 feet in front of the track. Then the wood took care of the rest. Here is Kinsler now. 1 for 2. Sacrifice in the 3rd. Then the big hit, the RBI double, and the run scored in the 5th. So he's up to 85 runs batted in. 3 behind the team leader Bird. This for Dan Wheeler, his 5th straight year of at least 65 appearances. One of the most durable relievers in baseball. 3rd most appearances in the majors since 2005. Tied with Russ Springer. They both today got their 353rd appearance over these last 5 years. And Francisco Cordero of the Reds also started the day in that tie. .55 innings, only 40 hits, 9 walks. Let's see how far the wind carries this one. Well, as it turns out, Crawford actually comes in a step or 2. And Wheeler works a 1-2-3 7th. Rangers 6. Full season tickets for 2010 guarantee the best seat locations at the very best prices. Ranger season tickets offer the best benefits package of any DFW sports team. For more information, call 972 Rangers extension 3. On to the 8th inning, and Brandon McCarthy still working on a 5-hit shutout. He's got the 8 and 9 hitters, Chris Richard and Deoner Navarro, and then Bartlett at the top of the order. Richard has flied to center and walked.
You know, Dave, I think looking back to where a couple of innings ago when Brandon was pitching well, had a couple of men on, Dustin Nippert was warming up. We were trying to come up with reasons why Dustin might be warming up. Seeing how well Brandon's throwing, he's obviously healthy. There's nothing wrong with him. I think it was just a case of Ron having a middle reliever up and ready at the earliest sign of trouble, rather than letting him get too far into trouble and then getting someone up. As you said, there's no tomorrow. You can use anybody in the bullpen, as many guys as you want. I think Ron was just being careful, making sure Dustin was ready if he wanted to make a change. Brandon obviously didn't need a change, has breezed through it so far, but looking back on it, that's all I can think of.
Well, Richard is his 9th fly ball out. He has really mixed the grounders and the fly balls. He has struck out 3.
Now, generally, you would say with a lot of fly ball outs, a lot of fly balls on a day like this, when the ball does seem to be carrying, that might not be too good a day. But the thing about the fly ball outs, very few of them, in fact, I don't think any of them have been hit that well. Most of them have been hit off a bad part of the bat, whether it's the handle or the end of the bat, and so they've been pretty much routine outs.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really been chased to the track.
No,
that's the wall. 1 and 2 to Navarro. O'Day continues to loosen as McCarthy now at 90 pitches. Best outing for Brandon, May 24th at Houston. Complete game shutout, 9-hitter over the Astros. And here in the 8th, he mixes a fly ball and a grounder. And let's check in with John Radigan.
Yeah, down here on the set of Rangers Live, Dave, getting ready for the post-game program. We'll have all kinds of post-game interviews. So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, these Rangers have got to be really starting to believe, although they never stop believing, even if you did. We'll hear what they're saying afterwards. We'll hear from Ron Washington. And, of course, Steve Busby will join me to give you all the post-game analysis. It's Rangers Live right after the game.
All right. Bartlett to Davis, who can only knock it down and then pull Blaylock way off the bag. A hot shot down to the hot corner. Right at Chris, but let's see. As this one is ruled an error on Davis. If he makes a clean pick, he does not have to hurry that throw, and it was hit hard enough that he would have thrown out Bartlett probably by a couple of steps.
Yeah, and once he missed it, the best thing to do is just hang on to it. The fielder's tendency is, after you miss it, to try to make up for the miss by making some outrageous throw to first base. But with Bartlett running, there was no chance to do that, so don't risk a bad throw. Just hang on to it.
First error of the game. First error of the game. We'll see how many extra pitches that causes McCarthy. 1-1 to Carl Crawford. He's 1 for 3. A single back in the 4th. In that shutout at Houston, Brandon allowed 9 hits. But walked only 1.
He threw 124 pitches in that shutout. I don't think Ron's going to let him throw 124 pitches today. We'll see, though.
Well, Darren O'Day appears ready if need be here in the 8th. But Brandon only 1 pitch away. That wasn't it. It's 2-2. 61 strikes, 35 balls. 1 hit batter, Bartlett in the 3rd. And only 1 walk. That was Richard on 4 pitches in the 5th. Base hit. And around to 3rd goes Bartlett. So the error now looming enough that Ron Washington will pull McCarthy here after 97 pitches. 2 outs, but 2 on for Evan Longoria. And McCarthy going to get a well-deserved ovation here. His best outing of the year at home, and his second best of the season.
One of the better ovations a pitcher's gotten all year. Standing ovation for Brandon. Isn't that nice?
Well, Darren O'Day comes out to try and preserve what Brandon McCarthy has going. Shutout through 7 2/3 innings. He comes in with Bartlett at third because of the error at third by Chris Davis, and Crawford at first after his single to right. 61st outing of the year. O'Day, one of the top relievers in baseball, and basically coming out of nowhere to have this tremendous year. Third in the American League with that 187 relief ERA. Fourth with that opponent average of 181. Longoria 1 for 4 against him lifetime, and today 1 for 3. A single back in the fourth. And right away Darren gets out in front of him.
Before Darren throws the next pitch, we want to thank Wesley, Jeannie, Trinity, Austin, and Braley Keeney from Fairfield, Texas, for the delicious sopapilla cake they sent up today. Went quite quickly. Everybody loved it. Thank you very much to the Keeney family from Fairfield, Texas.
Sparkling numbers for Brandon McCarthy today. 97 pitches. Should have been out of this inning. And Longoria went around on the check swing, and now O'Day 1 pitch away.
So many times when Darren gets ahead, 1-2, 0-2, the next pitch is a high fastball up about chin high and out of the strike zone. Gets the hitter aware of that slider away and tries to make him swing at a bad high fastball.
Exactly as called, but a little too tight.
A little too tight. Not in a spot where he could swing at it. If he gets it more out over the plate, then maybe you get the swing. It's been a real effective pitch for him all season long.
It's only 85 miles an hour, but looks much quicker than that after seeing the sliders blown away before. And that's what he gets here. He lays off, and it's 3-2. If Longoria can keep the inning alive, Ben Zobrist, cleanup hitter on deck. He's 0 for 3 today. Rangers trying for their 12th shutout of the year. They are tied for the Angels for the American League lead and third most in the majors with 11. Angels still have their shutout alive as well against Oakland. Runners going, and the 3-2 pitch barely inside. They are loaded. All this after 2 were out. Bartlett at third. Crawford now down to second. Not quite as close as it appeared. And here is Zobrist with the bases loaded. 24 home runs, club record for a switch hitter. First time All-Star, who's had a career year. And a chance to get Tampa Bay in this game with 2 outs in the 8th.
Zobrist is a switch hitter. You'd prefer, based on his numbers this year, to have him batting left-handed.
Two and 0. Rangers have C.J. Wilson and Wonder Madrigal now up in the bullpen. Well, McCarthy got out of jams in the 4th and the 5th, and after that sailed.
Well, one of those guys is warming up because he might come in. The other one's warming up to get some work in.
McCarthy 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7th, and would have had a 1, 2, 3, 8th until the error by Davis. That one finds the corner.
Strike.
Nice recovery for McCarthy after Tuesday's 9-1 loss at Oakland, in which he lasted just 5 1/3. Again in the quarter, 2 and 2 to Zobrist.
I'd try that same pitch. Drop that slider on the outside corner, backdoor it. That's a tough pitch to hit.
The 2-2. Base hit to center field. So much for the shutout. 2-run score. Both unearned. Both charged to McCarthy, and it's 5-2. Zobrist comes through with his 80th and 81st runs batted in. And most importantly, this is suddenly a ball game. Zobrist reaches for one, high and away. So Bartlett and Crawford come home, and O'Day comes out. C.J. Wilson will try to get the final out of this 8th inning. 4 straight Rays have reached after Richard and Navarro were quietly retired by Brandon McCarthy, and then Bartlett reached on the air by Davis, and nothing but trouble since. Wilson has thrown 8 1/3 scoreless innings in his last 8 outings. ERA falling from 3.29 down to 2.90. And he starts Willie Ibar with the strike. Ibar 0 for 3 today. Longoria at second after his walk. Zobrist at first after his 2-run single to end the shutout. And the Rangers' hopes of their 12th shutout of the year. Angels still have their shutout alive. They're also going for their 12th. If they get it, they would be alone at the top of the American League. Base hit. Longoria without a throw comes home. It is 5-3. And now 5 straight have reached. And we're a long way from what the Rangers did in the 5th last night, but this is starting to look like what that became. All this with 2 outs, all this unearned. 5 consecutive Rays aboard as Ibar drives in his 36th run of the year. That run the property of Darren O'Day. Francisco Perez has come on as a pinch runner. So he is at first, Zobrist at second. As you saw, Frank Francisco now getting loose. Maybe required for a 4-out save. B.J. Upton is the 8th Tampa Bay batter of the 8th inning. So after 2 quick outs, an error, base hit, walk, 2 more base hits. Singles by Crawford, Zobrist, and Ibar. Now 1-1. So what was a breeze now is turned into a game. Apparently the Rangers are going to have to sweat out right down to the final out. Good pitch. Upton couldn't reach. He has struck out his last 2 trips, up to 150 on the year. We'll see if Wilson has that same pitch in mind. Angels still 5-0 up on Oakland in the top of the 7th. Joe Saunders still in, working the shutout for L.A. Wilson elevated, and Upton stays alive at 1-2. Away with one belt high there. B.J. 1 hit, a 1-out single in the 2nd. 2-2. If Wilson can get Upton here, the bottom 3rd of the order would be due, but very doubtful it would be Gross and Richard, with pinch hitters available like Pat Burrell, Gabe Kapler, Aki Iwamura. 9th inning is going to be a challenge too. First, still 1 out needed here in the 8th, and this is the 6th straight batter in which the Rangers have tried for this 3rd out. O'Day twice went to 2 strikes on his 2 batters.
Ooh.
Now full count to Upton.
Just barely.
The pitch he swung at before. And it was a ball before too, but he offered. Speaking of Gabe Kapler, already out prepared to pinch hit for Gabe Gross. who was 0 for 3. Zobrist at second. Pinch runner Perez at first. Rays have now out hit Texas 8-6. The 3-2 pitch hit him. And Upton hops down to first base. They are loaded for the former Ranger Gabe Kapler. And this looks more and more like last night's Ranger fifth inning in reverse. This is how it started anyway. This is going to require the trainer and Joe Madden to come out and check on B.J. Upton on a slider that completely got away from Wilson and got him squarely on that front foot. And Ron Washington, after seeing Wilson give up an RBI single and hit a batter, has decided Frank Francisco will be required for a 4-out save here. Well, really rare to see Darren O'Day and C.J. Wilson both fail like this. They both pitch. Tried to do what Brandon McCarthy, Darren O'Day, and C.J. Wilson could not do before him. That is get the 3rd out of this inning. Like Wilson, Frank on a roll, 6 scoreless innings in his last 6 games with a 1.54 ERA over his last 12. And going for his 25th save of the year. It will not be Gabe Kapler pinch hitting since the Rangers have gone back to a right-handed reliever. It is instead 38-year-old backup catcher Greg Zaun.
Zaun unloaded in this series with a home run over the Ranger bullpen. Frankie coming in trying to get that last out. Bases loaded, game on the line right here.
So Tampa Bay bats around after the first 2 outs by Richard and Navarro, and what should have been the 3rd out and the 3rd batter. Hard grounder by Bartlett right at Chris Davis at 3rd. He bobbled it, and the throw was late and off the bag. Since then, 3 hits, a walk, and a hit batter. And Francisco has twice missed time.
Boy, those both are close. Technically, they're both balls, but they are very close to the strike zone.
There's a strike.
Brought that one in just a little bit. That's probably almost the exact same spot, only either in or touching the rectangle.
That's exactly. That should be a 3-pitch strikeout.
If you throw all 3 there, you got to get one of them.
Well, meanwhile, Oakland with 3 runs in the 7th. Darren Oliver has come on for Saunders. It's 5-3 Angels, still only 1 out. 2-2. But we have been here before. Crawford singled on a 2-2 pitch. Longoria walked against O'Day on a 2-2 pitch. Zobrist drove in 2 with his single on a 2-2. And Upton walked on a 3-2 pitch. So the 5th time the Rangers have gone to 2 strikes in search of this 3rd out. Here the 8th. And here's this 2-2. Stays alive. Last 2 innings, the Ranger hitters have gone in order against both Russ Springer and Dan Wheeler. After their 3-run 5th, there's 3 runs the difference. Still 2-2, still alive. 6 pitches, and Greg Zahn hitting .260 with some key home runs since coming over from Baltimore. August 7th.
All fastball so far from Frankie. See if he drops that splitter in. Maybe tries the curveball.
Zobrist at 3rd, Perez at 2nd, Upton at 1st. This 2-2. Finally strike 3.
That's a big-time curveball, too. That wasn't just a curve for the sake of throwing a curve. That was a strikeout curveball.
3 runs, all. Time for a look at our Coors Light Freeze Cam. And Elvis Andrus against Ben Zobrist to end the 1st inning with that bare hand gem. That's today's Coors Light Freeze Cam. Bottom of the 8th, Rangers could use some runs thanks to the 3 they just gave up. All earned run with 2 outs in the 8th, and Randy Choate, left-hander, on to face Andrus, and then Murphy and Bird. Showed 0-0, but 5 for 5 in save opportunities. A perfect ninth inning Wednesday against Seattle to nail down a 5-4 win. 57th outing. That .207 opponent average really stands out. He entered this year with no saves in his 196 major league relief appearances. Most appearances in the league since he was called up May 25th. He has been in over half Tampa Bay's game, 57 of their 106 since then. Perez stays in the game in right field. He came on to pinch run for the DH Willie Ibar, so they have lost the DH for the rest of the game. One ball, 2 strikes to Andrews, who was grounded out, hit by pitch, executed a perfect suicide squeeze, and beat it out for an RBI single in the 3-run 5th. 1 stolen base, caught twice by Navarro, and now 2-2. Choate specializes in the 1 batter appearance. He has faced 1 batter in exactly half of his outings. High for a full count. Came up from AAA Durham May 25th. Murphy on deck, 0 for 2 with a sac fly so far, and a call, strike 3. For out number 1 in the 8th. And let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, you know, it's been a great season. We want to thank all the Ranger fans, of course, all the players. It all started early in the year with the Major League of Justice. Guy dressed as Superman is Josh Hamilton. And then, of course, a lot of Elvis Andrews fans in the building. Some great signs, of course. Tag, don't tweet. That's one of my favorites. They came in all shapes and sizes. The exclamation mark, Rangers fans get into it. But a couple first. Marion Fisher celebrating her 100th year birthday, and he went dancing with her grandson afterwards. And then, of course, CJ from Cedar Hill catching not 1 but 2 foul balls off the bat of Josh Hamilton. Chuck Morgan even awarded him with the Golden Glove. But my little son, go ahead and throw out the ball, buddy. Throw it. There we go. Time to say goodbye at the end of the season. We want to once again thank all the Ranger fans. Thank you, Angie Swift. Thank you, John Blake. Thank you, Kurt Diker, the best producer in the world. Dave Burchett, the best director. Louie. We got Carla. We got EJ. Skelly Donaldson, way to work the tape. All the cameramen working this fine game. We love all the Ranger fans that put on a great performance, but most of all, it's all about the players. What a great season. And we'll see everyone next year.
I was checking his stat. Did he say something?
That's Knox at his best right there, boy. Every year.
Well, we may never see him again. He may be carried off into the sunset.
He'll be back.
He may live with his people now for the rest of his days.
They are his people. There's no doubt about that, but he will be back.
Marlon Byrd 0 for 2 with a walk. Well hit to center, up and back, and a very welcome home run from Marlon Byrd to put the Rangers back up by 3. He goes deep again, and there is number 20 for Marlon. The Tampa Bay bullpen had worked 2 2/3 perfect innings until the shot to straightaway center by Marlon Byrd. Six Rangers now with 20 home runs this year. And Frank Francisco very appreciative of that extra run to play with now. Blaylock grounds to Zobrist, and we go to the ninth. 8, 9, and 1 hitter schedule. Richard Navarro and Bartlett Marlon Byrd has made Francisco's job a great deal easier. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. And by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. Dave Barnett, Tom Grieve, the ninth inning, and 6-3 Rangers. Thanks to the Marlon Byrd home run to center field. Frank Francisco to pinch hitter Aki Iwamura. As Omar Vizquel comes on to play third, Chris Davis moves from third to first. Vizquel in Blaylock's number 5 spot in the order. If the Rangers should need to hit again, which would be a very bad thing. Francisco came on after 3 unearned runs had scored with 2 outs to strike out pinch hitter Greg Zahn and leave the bases loaded. Iwamura hitting .290, 1 homer, 22 runs batted in. He replaces Chris Richard, who had flied out twice to center and walked. Iwamura last night 0 for 3 on the check swing. He did not go. Frank had to come from behind Zahn to get the strikeout after numerous foul balls. 7-pitch at bat. Iwamura has missed exactly half the season. Left knee injury, injured May 24th, turning a double play. And a leadoff walk here. Only the 3rd issued by the Rangers, but at an absolutely terrible time. Not how you want to start this 9th inning. And now Pat Burrell will bat for Navarro, who was 1 for 3 with a bunt single in the 5th. So now Tampa Bay with some power up there. 14 home runs, 62 runs batted in. Only a .225 average for Burrell. His first year after 9 with the Phillies. He was their 3rd all-time home run hitter, trailing only Mike Schmidt and Del Ennis. That'll slice back out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. On Fan Appreciation Day, 37,905.
Yeah, great attendance for this 3-game series.
Yeah, nearly 32,000 last night, almost 30,000 Friday.
Almost 100,000 people for the 3-game. That's great.
1-2 to Burrell. Yeah, these fans really into it today. Very enthusiastic.
Yeah, when Brandon McCarthy came out of the game, I think it's one of the best ovations one of our pitchers has gotten here all season long.
And well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely.
7 2/3 innings, 2 unearned runs, 6 hits, 3 strikeouts, only 1 walk. Called strike 3 for the first out of the night.
Frankie threw him a splitter. Worked just like a changeup. After a bunch of foul balls, he struck out Zahn with a curveball. And he gets him looking at that off-speed pitch.
There's 1, and now Bartlett, who reached on the error by Davis to start that 8th inning rally. It was a hot shot, but it was right at Chris, who bobbled it, and his throw pulled Blaylock off the bag and was late to boot. After that, Crawford singled. In came O'Day for McCarthy. Longoria walked. Zobrist followed with a 2-run single. That was it for O'Day. C.J. Wilson came in. Ibar singled in a run, and he hit Upton. That was it for C.J. Francisco, with the bases loaded, finally struck out Greg Zahn. And he hits 96 to even the count at 1-1. This is a pitcher's dream here, isn't it, Tom, with the shadows just exactly halfway between the mound and home plate.
Yeah, I don't think the hitter likes that. See the pitcher in the sun, and he's in the shade.
Hard shot past Ian Kinsler. If he comes up with that, then he's thinking game-ending double play, but instead Bartlett, who started the game with a base hit, keeps it going with a base hit, and the tying run will come to the plate in Carl Crawford. He's 2 for 4. 14 home runs, 66 driven in. And it is only the tying run instead of the potential go-ahead run, only because of Marlon Byrd's 8th inning home run. 2-out blast to center, which gave Francisco his 6-3 lead. And Neftali Feliz now getting up, just in case Francisco can't get the job done here. He is at 20 pitches, 11 strikes. And there's his 10th ball.
And I think what Ron wants to guard against is too many pitches today with the Anaheim series coming up. It's a hard save to get when you've got to come in a pressure-packed situation in the 8th inning and pitch out of it. It takes a lot of adrenaline, and then to go back out and pitch the last inning is a draining thing to do. And now at 21 pitches, Ron wants to be careful of the pitch count. Ideally, in a 5-0 game, you sneak through the game and you don't have to use Frankie, and you go into Anaheim with him well rested. But you got to do what you have to do to win a game now.
Up the middle, base hit. And here comes Iwamura. It is 6-4. All the way around to third is Bartlett. And Crawford has a 3-hit afternoon. So Francisco sees the walk to Iwamura come home. Still only 1 out. And Evan Longoria, with 31 home runs and 109 runs batted in, is the subject for Mike Maddox. Now, if they have to go to Feliz, obviously is a great chance of the strikeout, but not so much lately. In Feliz's last 6 outings, 8 hits, 5 runs, and 6 walks over 7 1/3 innings.
I doubt very much he's going to go to Feliz unless the Rangers lose the lead. Frankie will be out there, but you have to have Feliz ready just in case the worst happens. But right now, Frankie will be trying to throw that low fastball, either get a strikeout or a ground ball, turn a double play.
The Rangers were 4 outs away with a 5-0 lead until the error opened the gates. Now the tying runs aboard, and Longoria, one of the best power hitters in baseball, takes up high. He has a single, a walk, and a run scored. He greeted O'Day with a walk on a 3-2 pitch. Has also struck out and flied out. Double play depth. Rangers hoping for a grounder to end it. 1-1.
They have to assume Longoria is up there thinking one thing and looking for a fastball to do it. Frankie threw him a couple of splitters.
He has grounded into 27 double plays this year. Frankie almost hits it.
3 uncomfortable pitches right there. 2 off-speed pitches. Now you're not too sure what's coming, and here comes one 95 miles an hour up and in.
Here's the 2-1. Same area. Just really no command at all on his usually trusty pitches. So he has seen his streak of 6 straight scoreless outings come to an end as the A's continue to come back on the Angels. Now that's a 1-run game in the top of the 8th. Kevin Jepson has come on, the latest out of the LA bullpen. Runner goes. Ball 4. They are loaded for Ben Zobrist.
He didn't want to throw Longoria a fastball when he's behind in the count, feeling like Longoria would be looking fastball all the way. But he just couldn't get his curveball over or his splitter. Got one splitter over for the 1 strike. Well, the off-speed pitches weren't effective to Longoria, and now he's got Zobrist up with the bases loaded, and boy, you really need a ground ball double play right here.
Zobrist has hit into 7 double plays. Last time up, a 2-run single against O'Day. He takes strike 1 here. Frank, one of the few occasions, gets ahead. Boy, how fast the wheels came flying off of this thing. 5-0, 2 outs in the 8th. Should have been the 3rd out. Turned into a Davis error and 3 unearned Tampa Bay runs. Now a run in, loaded with 1 out. And the 0-1 to Zobrist.
Zobrist is one guy that will not swing, usually won't swing at a close pitch that's not a strike. And that was a good curveball after seeing a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. A lot of times Frankie will get the batter to swing at that, but Zobrist has an excellent eye at the plate. He's walked 89 times this year. He makes you throw a strike. He's a tough hitter.
Through on the right side. 1 run home. 2 runs are home. This is a tie game. Ben Zobrist with a pair of 2-run singles in the 8th and the 9th. And the Dallas Baptist product has this afternoon been an absolute nightmare for the Texas Rangers, and Ron Washington will have to come out and get Frank Francisco, who in 30 pitches threw 15 balls, 16 strikes, and got only 2 outs with 2 walks and 3 base hits. So a 5-0 lead with 2 outs in the 8th has turned into a 6-6 tie. Francisco cannot protect a 3-run 9th inning lead, and we'll see if the rookie Neftali Feliz can at least keep it tied. failing to get the 4 outs the Rangers needed to nail down what looked like it was going to be a 5-0 win. Darren O'Day, C.J. Wilson, now Frank Francisco, followed by Neftali Feliz, whose numbers are still outstanding, except if you look lately. His last 6 appearances, his ERA has jumped from 0.41 to 1.84. First 12 outings, 5 hits, 1 run, and only 1 walk in his first 22 innings. But lately, he has not had anywhere near the command nor the velocity that he showed as the season has worn on, and perhaps, Tom, he has worn down. So Tampa Bay has tied this with a 3-run 8th and 3 more in the 9th off Frank Francisco. And the bunt by Perez is an out on the tag by Davis, but it puts Tampa Bay on top as he squeezes home Longoria on the first pitch he sees. It is 7-6 Rays. Unbelievable.
That was a safety squeeze. He was bunting, and the runner came after the bunt. Chris never made the tag, but the umpire ruled that he ran out of the baseline. But that's nice job of sneaking in that last run.
Zobrist at second. B.J. Upton singled his first time up. He has struck out twice and hit by a pitch that loaded the bases. He was the second and final batter C.J. Wilson faced in the 8th, and then Francisco came in to strike out Zong and keep it 5-3. But here in the 9th, all started as so many bad innings do, with a lead-off walk to Iwamura. Burrell struck out. Back-to-back singles by Bartlett and Crawford. Longoria walked. Zobrist a 2-run single. Now Perez with the squeeze. Go-ahead run batted in. And 4 runs have scored in 2/3 of an inning. Two and 2. 7 runs have scored after 2 were out and nobody on in the 8th. And it's been the best of the Ranger bullpen, who have been, for the most part, extremely reliable, except for today. Feliz gets Upton, and now the Rangers need at least a run, not to spoil Fan Appreciation Day and not to fall another back of the Angels. At Balfour, their 5th Tampa Bay pitcher here in the 9th inning. And Balfour on for the 7th time this year. looking for just his second save. Other defensive changes. Sean Riggins is the catcher. Iwamura stays in the game in second. Zobrist moves to first. And it'll be Andrew Jones, Nelson Cruz, and Chris Davis. So plenty of power to face the hard-throwing Balfour here in the ninth inning. But can the Rangers overcome the stunning 8th and 9th failures by their bullpen? With a 5-0 lead turning suddenly into a 7-6 deficit as Frank Francisco gives up 4 runs on 3 hits, 2 walks in just 2/3 of an inning. Feliz allowed the go-ahead squeeze, but then struck out Upton to keep it a 1-run game. And here is Andrew Jones, 17 homers, but homerless since he hit 3 July 8th at Anaheim. Crawford in a few steps, 2 pitches to get the first out. And speaking of Anaheim, LA continues to lead 5-4 over Oakland in the bottom of the 8th. With Blevins on now out of the A's bullpen. Nelson Cruz, a 2-run homer to get the Rangers started in the second. Singled and scored in the 5th. Last time struck out. One and one. So if both these results hold, the Rangers head to Anaheim. 6 back with 7 to play. Still mathematically possible, but you're not only looking for a 4-game sweep at Angel Stadium, you're also needing a lot of help after that series.
The one thing you can control is whether or not you get to watch the Angels celebrate while you're there. And regardless of what happens in this game, the Rangers can control that if they sweep the Angels. And after that, you just got to take your chances. You got to get some help, and you got to keep winning.
Three and 2. Well, I think this is what Ron Washington refers to all season long when he has talked about defense coming first. And it was a defensive breakdown that opened the gates. It looked like the 3rd out of the 8th to keep it 5-0. Led the 3 unearned runs in the 8th. It caused the Rangers to get 4 relievers into their bullpen. So none of those guys will be particularly well rested heading to Anaheim, especially not Frank Francisco, who threw 30 pitches to get 2 outs.
Good swing for Nelly right there. A good fastball to hit. He had a great swing, but he fouled it off.
This one will also come back out of play and keep the count full. Difference in this game turns out to be the bullpens. Springer and Wheeler both worked a perfect inning. Schoch gave up the homer to Berg with 2 outs in the 8th. Looked like it would be huge. Gave the Rangers a 3-run lead, but they are now down to their last out. And for Chris Davis, it is a chance at atonement because it was his error with 2 outs of the 8th that opened the gates. But apparently he will not face Balfour, as Joe Madden will make the call for his 6th pitcher of the afternoon. So Balfour works 2/3. And 4 relievers now for the Rays have combined to allow only 1 run on 1 hit. to get the last out of the game. He has not been pitching well lately. 6 runs, 5 of them earned in his last 6 outings over 4 2/3 innings. 2 and 3 with 4 holes, .250 average against, and 1 save. He is most of the year been their long man, and with 74 relief innings, leads the team and is 8th in the league.
Balfour and Cormier each have 1 save. Balfour's opponent's batting average against lefties is .245. Cormier's is .243. So at least statistically, in this situation, they're very similar. But Joe Madden chose to go with Cormier here instead of Balfour to finish it off.
He has given up 3 homers to lefties, and starts with a breaking ball low. Chris today 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 3-run 5th. A's have added 2, and now in the 9th, 3 outs away from a 7-4 win. And a 6-game lead with 7 to play.
And the one thing that you see in the 9th is, one thing you don't see is Josh Hamilton, which might lead you to believe that either Ron likes these other matchups or that Josh didn't come through last night's game feeling well enough to bat today. But I think you would have expected to see him hit for Andrew Jones to lead off the inning if he was 100% healthy.
Chris laid off 2 low breaking balls, but not that one. 2 and 1. Well, Josh before the game claimed that he was feeling no ill effects.
Maybe it's just the matchups then.
Yep. The 2-1 to Davis. 3 balls and 1 strike. Julio Bourbon has come out in the on-deck circle and would absolutely love to get a chance to bat here in the 9th. The 3-1 full count. And what would you bet? Chris sees exactly that pitch again.
Well, Cormier throwing a lot of breaking balls. Evidently, Joe Madden is thinking he would rather have a breaking ball pitcher facing Chris than a fastball pitcher like Balfour.
Well, that's pretty solid thinking based on Chris's results this year. Ball 4 low. So Davis looks at enough out of the zone to keep this game alive, and now Julio Bourbon as the potential winning run will bat for Taylor Teagarden. Taylor was 1 for 3, a double back in the 3rd. A .320 hitter with 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Out at center, Upton playing much deeper than he normally does. They are guarding against the doubles out there. Crawford in left, Perez in right. And a diving attempt by Zobrist on that foul ball. Boy, that was close. It is 0-2. Rangers down to their last strike. Hard one hopper. 0-2 to Julio. One ball and 2 strikes. Ian Kinsler hoping to get a chance on deck. He has an RBI double today. So if Julio could reach, and then Ian could do that again, this could still have a happy ending. Such a difference between trailing by 5 and 6 with 7 left. And still Rangers looking for a miracle, but much more possible the other way. In the shallow center, was Upton playing too deep? No, he makes the catch, and Tampa Bay with 7 runs after 2 were out and nobody on in the 8th inning, has completely spoiled Fan Appreciation Day and maybe the Rangers' chances at pulling off